Alright, do you want me to start over again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Don't mess up.
Every Olympics are the same. They all start with the Parade of Countries. The Parade of Countries acts as an introduction to the Games by showing off the countries and their athletes. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Olympic Games. To understand the Olympics to the fullest extent, you must know the history, the rebirth and decline, and the Para and Special Olympics. Everyone in the world lives in a country, and the countries compete in the Games and give their citizens a sense of self-pride. When I see the U.S. compete, I'm proud to be an American. Now let's move on to the history of the Games. The Games started in ancient Greece in 776 BC. They started on the plains of Olympia because the people of Greece believed the gods lived on Mount Olympus and wanted the Games to be held on the plains right next to them. The main reason they made the Olympics was to honor the gods. They wanted to pay a special tribute to their head god Zeus, so they felt that the way they could do that was to compete in a competition. According to teacher.scholastic.com, copyright 2013. There were a few major rules, however, to the Games. There were no women allowed at all. If a woman was found at the Games, she was punished by death. That means that she couldn't even watch. It was that severe that men were superior than women. The only people that could compete in the Games were freeborn men. So that meant no slaves or servants, according to teacher.scholastic.com, copyright 2013. According to the book The Olympic Games, copyright 2004, the events of the first Games were running, wrestling, a pentathlon, horse riding, chariot racing, best trumpeteering, and best heralds. At one time, the Olympics were very popular, but then they declined and later came back. In 100 BC, the Roman Empire took over ancient Greece. And with that, a lot of things changed, including the Olympics. The integrity of the Games was lost, and people started cheating and did other things that lost credit to the Games, according to teacher.scholastic.com, copyright 2013. In 393 AD, Emperor Theodosius claimed the Games to be a pagan festival and ordered them to be stopped. That meant that he thought they were bad because he was a Christian and he believed that they were honoring different gods, and that was not right because he believed in like Christian gods. According to Olympic.org, copyright 2013. The idea of the modern Games came to life in 1984. A French educator by the name of Baron Pierre de Coubertin brought it up to sports leaders, and it was accepted. 2 years later, in 1986, the first modern Games were held in Athens, Greece. 14 countries competed with 245 different athletes. Coincidentally, Greece won the most medals with 47, according to infoplease.com, copyright 2005. Now that the Games were back up and running, other things could branch off of them, like the Paralympics and Special Olympics. The Paralympics are special games that people who are physically unable can compete. The first Paralympics were held in Rome, Italy in 1960. At the Rome Games, 400 athletes competed from 23 different countries, according to Paralympic.org, 10/15/13. Over 20 years, the number of Paralympic female athletes more than doubled. In 1992, there were around 700 athletes, and 20 years later, in 2012, there were over 1,500, which is a very good jump for female athletes because it wasn't that popular at the time, according to Arabia 2008, 16, 2012. The Special Olympics, however, are games where mentally enabled people can compete. And it started in 1963, but wasn't originally recognized by the Olympic Committee until 1971. It was started as a summer camp in 1963, but then later became a special event that the Olympic Committee recognized. It was started by a woman of the name Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and she saw that mentally enabled people were discriminated against in sporting events, and she just wanted to give them a way to compete and have something that they could have their own. Today, the Special Olympics are held in multiple countries outside the U.S., according to 2010 SpecialOlympics.org, copyright 2007 to 2011. The Paralympics and Special Olympics are the most rewarding to watch because it's so amazing to see the people who have been unable to do things in their life succeed. Today I have talked about the Olympic Games. I recovered the history, the decline and rebirth, and the Para and Special Olympics. The closing ceremony is the final chapter of each Games. Each city has their own farewell, and most of the time it's quite exciting. In 2012, London closed off the Games with a concert and a skit that showed the history of the European city, and it was a good ending to the Games.